I apparently have a problem speaking through.
Well, I mean, it can be difficult too to like acknowledge that all eyes are on you, even if that's what you want. To have all eyes on you, sometimes when you get it, it feels uncomfortable. You know what I mean? Like, I'm fine in front of a crowd, and the larger the crowd, the easier it is for me, because the crowd then becomes its own animal, and I don't have to worry about them individually. But if I'm talking one-on-one to a person, or even like a group of a smaller group, and then all of a sudden everyone turns to me, sometimes it's like, you know, you get startled by the attention.
Yeah, and you know, it's funny, it's the difference of like being on stage with a microphone or without a microphone. Like, holding a microphone makes me so much more self-conscious of myself and what I'm saying, because I'm like trying to be aware of how far I'm holding it from my face and like my mouth, and like whether I'm like making it feedback or doing like weird like pop noise with my lips whenever I'm talking, or like something weird like hyper aware. And if I don't have that microphone, I don't have that concern, and I'm fine, and I can be on stage and be comfortable, and that's just like theater training. But like the act of holding the microphone and being more like self-aware in that moment, and knowing the sound, like something about the sound quality of it really throws me. It makes me very uncomfortable.
That explains the whole lean back on enjoying your cracker pepper.
Yeah, I don't want to be picked up by the microphone.
You're super aware of this microphone, so no.
It's hot. I can tell it's hot.
It's a hot mic. It's a real hot mic.
I'm always worried about, is it just partially of what you were talking about? I'm always very aware of like the S sounds whenever you're speaking. And that always I'm not a big fan.
And it's a thing that you, even though you don't actually maybe say it when you're actually speaking, you just hear it on a microphone, and they're like, is that what I talk like?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I think my problem with stand-up is that I got into acting to be someone else. I don't need to tell you anything about me.
Yeah.
Like, the less you know about me, the better. I know that sounds crazy, but it's like, I'd like you to see me every day playing a character that's not me.
Absolutely.
But I am not interested in being myself and telling you something. Like, I appreciate and I like write stuff that's, you know, autobiographical, and that's great. But I don't know, saying it out loud somehow always makes me feel weird about it. You know? Yeah.
I mean, personally, I always emulated character actors when I was younger, when I was like just focusing on theater exclusively, like Chris Cooper and I'm blanking on his name. The actor from Sid and Nancy, who was also
Gary Oldman.
Thank you, Gary Oldman.
I think you're gonna stop. Who was also everything and everything?
Yeah, I could have named off a lot of very specific Gary Oldman roles, and I was like, I can't think of his name. I just completely blanked.
He's fucking great. He's so
fantastic.
good. He's so you don't even realize like the different characters that he's played, because he's just been embodied everyone so perfectly,
and they're so distinct and unique. Like he has such a range, and each of those characters is a fully fleshed out human being that has a wide range, and it's great. And I was always impressed by that chameleon ability. Like that really is something that I wanted, and I've sought, and I know I don't fully have in that same way, but I kind of have sometimes a little bit, and I try to like cultivate more. And you know, like Jim Carrey in like his early like wacky comedy roles was always something where I was like, oh cool, like 90s Jim Carrey, like The Mask and Ace Ventura movies, those were always like real fun for me as a kid, but I was like, oh, this is great, he's being a real asshole, and everyone loves it, this is great.
I loved Liar Liar and The Mask when I was little. I mean, I still like them, just I remember
it's got a certain nostalgic feel where I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, like that guy's a cool guy on screen there being crazy like a living cartoon.
You know what though, you watch a lot of shows even today, and the character that we're following is this like horrifyingly flawed person who like is just a failure at everything. Like, and there are certain shows where you watch and like you want them to do well, and then the voice in the back of my head goes like, Amy, this is a television show. It's not going to go well. They have to keep it going. They're not going to get another season if she solves her problem. Like, oh, right. I get it.
But also, like, how many of those shows have screenwriters who are, like, deeply flawed people that are just projecting their pain on screen.
Yeah.
Right, but
like
to a
a
certain
never-ending
extent,
well.
that's what I'm looking to do myself.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell you that it's me, but I will write a character that's shitty like I am, and you will know that that's actually me who thinks those things. Yeah. Unless you do Curb Your Enthusiasm and then you just play yourself.
Oh, sure, yeah.
It's really funny because, like, I notice that a lot more on TV now, and, like, it's one of those things, like, I remember a time where, like, I couldn't separate, like, the reality of the world from the movies. I remember, Dumb and Dumber is one of my favorite movies, but I remember the first time I saw it as a kid, and what they did to that blind kid, where they, like, gave him a dead bird and convinced him it was alive, and it was just such a pitiful scene. I remember being like, this movie is absolutely horrible. How did you ever do that?
As a young child, I thought that movie was really repugnant.
Yeah.
And now I think it's hilarious.
I know, it's...
But I was like maybe too young to have the proper like sense of morality and like irony to gauge it correctly.
Well, like, I love that kind of stuff now. Like, I like it's just weird how, like, you just recognize the difference on a narrative that has to happen, and the way these things, like, the way they're trying to explain to you how shitty these guys are, really, and how, like, unrelatable they kind of are. And
I had a similar experience with Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke.
Okay.
Which I saw at some, like, sleepover whenever I was, like, 8 or 9. Like, somebody was like, let's watch Cheech and Chong! And everyone was like, ha 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 ha, this is so funny! And I remember just sitting there being like, this isn't funny, I don't get it. I don't get any of this movie.
This is unsafe.
These guys are jerks.
Yeah, these guys are just mean, and
I
don't get it, and what's happening? And, like, I remember...
Their car's on fire.
Like, I remember having a distinct suspicion, like, because I was young and naive, and I was like, are these guys doing, like Mexican caricatures? And, like, I wasn't sure, and I was, like, a little bit uncomfortable with that, because I was, like, just that clueless.
As well you should have been.
And I was like, I don't understand what this movie is about at all.
Sometimes I get a little uncomfortable about those kinds of things, especially of a certain time period. Like, when people do it now, it's, like, unacceptable.
Right, yeah.
Like, Cheech and Chong, if it came out right now...
If they were new, young performers, I think they would
be horrifying.
Booted right off the TV.
Yeah, they'd be like, absolutely not. Listen, Wilbur Valderrama, you are not allowed to play.
You're not allowed to play both of these characters at the same time.
The saving grace of that 70s show character was that there was never a place that he was from.
Right.
That's how it stayed mildly unracist.
God, I never thought about that. They don't talk about where he's from at all.
Like,
that's like a big gag the
like
whole
it's a
time.
Deal that you never know where he's from.
His name is Fez, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's like, man, even as a 90s sitcom, that's really towing the line a little bit. Now
His name isn't actually Fez.
It's an acronym
for foreign exchange student.
Oh, is that the name?
Yeah.
Really?
He has another unpronounceable name.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think the bell rings or like something happens like each time when he says what his name is, so you don't know. Like
yeah, okay, that sounds right. Yeah,
like in Sex and the City.
Classic gag.
Yeah.
Because you never know Mr. Big's name. Because why do you need to know it?
You don't.
That's right.
Okay, so can I?
It never occurred to me what you were talking about. I was like, her name's Carrie.
So I want to posit this example to this theory. It's Always Sunny. I'd say maybe 6 seasons ago, they did a thing where Mac and Dennis shot their own Lethal Weapon 6.
Oh.
You know
I think the blackface.
Yeah. Mac decided that because they switched roles halfway through the movie. Like one was Riggs and the other was Murtaugh, and then they switched. Well, like Mac just didn't think it was appropriate to do it not in blackface. But yeah, him and Dee actually get like full body makeup and do it, and really got no pushback. So like. I mean, you think it's just like the tongue-in-cheek sort of awareness
I feel like
of it?
That show builds itself on the idea that they're going to offend you.
Okay, yeah.
Like, they open up with the most offensive stuff. I mean, this wasn't the first season, was it?
No. This is probably
well in.
Yeah, like fourth or fifth season.
So people are accepting of what's going on. They know these human beings are the worst human beings.
Most of America is aware how awful Philadelphia and its residents are. And if they're not, they've seen a couple episodes of that show before.
Well, like,
I'll be honest, I can't even watch the show because they're too horrible.
That's what my girlfriend
I guess I'm still too naive to
Yeah.
accept the horribleness of these characters.
But also, like, because they're, they're just poking fun at it like so.
Well, like
much.
yeah, I assume they're just sort of making they're just making the argument for everybody. Like it's like stupid people think this, and they take it like in a very detailed way because that whole episode is spent arguing on the point of doing it.
Don't they do that again in another episode where they put a baby in blackface?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they like tan it.
Yeah.
And like to the extent of making it brown.
I'm just laughing at the idea of putting a baby in blackface.
Yeah,
that's so unfair to everybody.
Yeah, they were trying to get it. They were trying to get it in a
Who
commercial.
offers up their kid for that?
Yeah. Well, like they found a kid.
One of the founders.
They found a kid in a dumpster. That was what it was, and they wanted to try and get it in
real
commercials.
life.
But I mean, like what? Yeah, like to make a point. Sure, here's my kid. It's like people have given up their kids.
There's
for
a writing
things.
staff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like one assumes a person on that writing staff has a child. I was like, if I'm ever on a writing staff of a show and they need a baby and I have a baby, you can have that baby.
Nobody's gonna hold anything against this baby.
This
later
baby,
on.
it's probably better the baby's with me today.
Yeah.
Put him on stage.
Yeah, it's cool. This
I don't
is
have
my
to get a
baby.
sitter
Don't
that
worry
day.
about
That's
it.
fine.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah,
to
this is a de facto baby. It's A-okay.
This baby's already in the theater. All right, man? He's just here. So it's happening.
He's already on SAG. Yeah, it's fine. Like we don't even have
This
to
baby
register
was
the kid.
present for most of the writing of season 3
This baby is
while he was
so
gestating.
gets it.
Most of the good ideas for this season from the baby.
Hey, does like okay, so if you're gonna have a line in a show or a commercial and you have to like become a part of the Screen Actors Guild, right? Like that's sort of the whole thing. Or like a couple of lines.
Not television.
Not
but,
television? Okay, but in movies?
Some movies. Not all movies.
Is there an age restriction on that? Does like a baby saying like a couple of cute words not count?
No, babies still have to be part of the unit.
Really? Oh, okay. All right. I'm asking for a friend who's trying to monetize their child's adorableness. You know?
Well, watch out, because Pinkerton thugs might bust up that unit at any moment.
What? Like, because the railroad's coming through.
You don't want your baby to get roughed up, sir.
He's got to milk the cows and, sow the field.
I mean, if you're looking forward to a life of coke and crazy parties, I feel like why not get your child into acting early on?
I feel like you don't do that if you're looking forward to that life so much as if you're already in that life.
Yeah. You're not trying to start it after the kid.
Like, you're not trying to, kickstart a career of cocaine and partying if you're getting your kid into the stage life. You're just, trying to continue a life of cocaine and partying.
You're just too reasonable to start doing that without
It's
the
like,
kids.
my looks are fading. My best bet is to get this baby into some stage time.
Man, I've been a nerd my whole life. The only way I'm going to be cool is if I can have this baby.
Oh, man, this baby's so hot. He'll get all the roles. Oh, God.
Convince your Italian boyfriend to drive your baby to an audition.
In his Camaro.
That's how you get auditions, is by driving up in a Camaro.
Yeah.
And just doing donuts until they give you the role. It's just right outside.
Casting
spitting
agents
gravel.
are known for looking out the window.
That's how Jason Lee has gotten every role.
Alvin and the Chipmunks
Every single role.
broke every window on the first floor. It was amazing.
I watched a movie with him
Scientology.
recently. It was a horror film, and it was about some sort of creature that was taking over, and every actor in it was a famous serious actor. And it was a Stephen King story. Oh, God, I wish I could remember it. Oh, Dreamcatcher.
Oh, hey!
Dreamcatcher is so bad. Let's talk about
so
Dreamcatcher for the next hour.
crazy. It's
Oh,
so
do you want to talk about the
crazy.
part where aliens crawl up kids' butts? Or do you want to talk about the part where the aliens then create a dream world inside those kids' minds and
I thought you were gonna
control
say
them
butts
forever?
again.
Dream Butt World? Yeah.
Inside the dream world inside their butts.
Oh man, what a weird movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was, spoiler alert to anyone who's going to watch it. It's on Netflix right now, and that's why I watched it.
Spoiler alert, don't watch it.
It was alright. I mean, all the actors in it are all, legit, people
Yeah,
who
the
are
cast
in
is good.
Morgan
stuff.
Freeman's in that movie, isn't he?
Yeah.
I think he is, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, Morgan Freeman, Tom Sizemore,
Yeah.
one of the guys from Homeland, whose name I don't know.
Oh, it's the redheaded guy,
The
right?
redheaded guy, yeah. And it's
He's
what
great.
the fuck? Oh, the guy from
Life.
Justified is in it.
Timothy
Timothy
Oliphant?
Oliphant.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Hot as shit and dying from aliens.
Yeah.
But I was like, what? How did this cast get put in this crazy fucking? But it's so funny because I was like, wait, how do we get from here to there? Wait, I thought we were going to connect more with this person, but he just died, like, so fast.
And then they just jump around a lot through time and space, and some of it is some of it's inside a person's brain, and some of it's not.
We've made, like, every Stephen King novel into a movie at this point. We are